not as bad as this one. Bear with me, please. Okay. Saturday, February 1st. Gee, I'm suffering from the worst case of crushitis ever. This morning I had this fluttery butterfly in my stomach that were making me feel super nauseous, but in a really good way. I felt so insanely happy I could just vomit. Sunshine, rainbow, confetti, glitter, and those yummy little Skittle candy thingies. I still can't believe my crush, Brandon, actually texted me last night after I left his birthday party. And you'll never guess what happened. He asked me out to Crazy Burger. Squee. And yes, I know it's not like a real date or anything, but still. I was so elated I blast my fave music and dance around my bedroom like a maniac. Hey, I was beyond fierce. I was in an air guitar playing dance machine. After dancing in my room for an entire hour, I was so tired I could barely breathe. That's when I collapsed into a wheezing sweat, soaked massive body odor and sheer exhaustion. I'm very happy wheezing sweat, soaked massive body odor and sheer exhaustion. Why? Because any minute now, Brandon was going to contact me so we can make plans to hang out at Crazy Burger. Squee. So I snuggled into a comfy chair, stared at my cell phone and waited patiently for his call. I waited and waited and waited and waited. Before I knew it, it was bedtime. I felt like I'd been waiting forever. But no calls, no emails, not even a text message. I even checked my cell phone to make sure the battery thingy hadn't run down or something. Unfortunately, my last call was from my BFF Chloe and Zoe. They called me late last night with some really juicy gossip. Apparently, someone had showed up at Brandon's party unexpectedly to drop off a present for him shortly after I left. You never guess who it was. Mackenzie. Okay, I'll admit it was really nice and sweet of her to do that, but she had totally overlooked one very important little detail. She wasn't invited, which meant Miss Thang had basically crashed Brandon's party. Like, who does that? My BFF told me that Mackenzie was twirling her hair, giggling and flirting with Brandon like crazy. Then she got super serious and asked to talk to him privately about something really important. Just great. Now I'm really starting to panic. What if Mackenzie told him some awful lies about me so he wouldn't want to be my friend anymore? She was always talking about me behind my back and saying stuff like, Nikki's a hopeless, insecure fashion challenge diary obsessed dork, which is not true. Well, maybe a little true. Okay, actually, a lot true, but still. Why did all of this have to happen just when Brandon and I were about to have our very first date that really isn't a date? Please, 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 please let Brandon call me tomorrow. Sunday, February 2nd. I've been awake now for 7 hours, 11 minutes, and 39 seconds. And Brandon still hadn't called. I'm starting to worry that something really bad happened to him. I think he seriously wants me to call. Wait, what? I'm sorry, what the heck? I think he seriously wanted to call me sister Briana, just so they could go to the movie together. Like, how insensitive is that? Sometimes I think my mom, wait, what? Sorry, sometimes I think mom and dad need to take a parenting class or something. The last time I tried to talk to Brandon on the phone with Briana around, it was a total disaster. She actually told him about my hairy legs and crusty eye booger. It was so humiliating. Lately, Briana has been totally obsessed with those diva hair shows, Salon on TV. And get this, she actually calls herself Miss Bree Fashionista Hairstylist to the star. I was shocked to see her sneaking into my parents' bathroom and stealing shampoo and perfume and stuff. It was like I had personal witness a miracle. Briana was finally trying to improve her nasty hygiene. But later, when I peeked inside Briana's room, I discovered she was missing, and in her place was a strange little woman. She was wearing big diamond cat eye glasses and looking skirt, 4 size too big Satan slipper, and a Kaiden pink apron filled with mom-designed makeup collection. I didn't know who the heck she was. I wanted to scream, "Who are you? And we have you, what?" Sorry, let me repeat that again. I wanted to scream, "Who are you? And what have you done with my little sister?" But my gut told me to run away fast and call the police. Then she smiled at me really big and said, "Bonjour, Miss Nikki. Welcome to the salon, Briana." Welcome to the salon, Briana. Sorry. I was halfway down the hall before Briana caught up with me. She grabbed my arm and dragged me back towards the bedroom. "Darling, where are you going? Don't be scared," Briana said in an awful fake French accent that sounds more like a 6-year-old Arnold's we'll just skip that word. I don't know how to pronounce that. You're playing with mom, new makeup and perfume. You do realize she's going to kill you when she gets home, right? I scold her. "Never mind that, darling. You are Miss Bree next appointment. Wee. Come, she said, pushing me into her salon chair. Kids' pop music was playing in the background, and she drew the most hideous hairstyle poster and hung them on her wall to help set the mood for the trendy upscale salon. Those posters should have been a warning to me about Miss Bree hair salon abilities. I couldn't resist coming up with a catchy name for each one. The ugly, the uglier, the ugliest. "Don't worry, darling," Miss Bree said. "I'm going to make you beautiful." Or should she say beautiful? "For your little friend Brandon." Yes, for Brandon. I blush profusely. Hey, it was just a pretend makeover with Miss Bree Fashionista Hairstylist to the star. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, as long as it's only pretend, I grump. If I was lucky, this would keep Briana occupied until mom and dad got back home, and it was way less dangerous than us baking cookie and almost burning down the house again. Yay, my first customer. Miss Bree cheered. "Before I start, darling, would you like something to drink? Juicy juice, Hawaii punch, chocolate milk." Chocolate milk would be answered. Hans, go get our customer, Miss Nikki, a glass of chocolate milk. Extra cold, she commanded, looking at the teddy bear in the chair next to mine. The bear, Hans, didn't move an inch. Well, I glared at him. Don't just sit there. Go get some milk for her, please. Now, please. Then she turned to me and laughed uncomfortably. Please excuse my assistant, and is new here. Speaks little French, but very little English. I looked at the teddy bear, looked back at her, and raised an eyebrow. Okay, I replied. I know just what to do with your hair, darling, Briana said as she draped a smock around my shoulder. Now just relax and let Miss Bree work her magic. Yes, Hans, would you please grab the magazine and give it to her?